Hi folks, Paul Boland here, and welcome to the second vlog of Home Sweet Home. This time, we'll take a look at the house. As said in the previous vlog, when it came to designing this game, I needed the house. I needed the location that this horror was going to be set at. I had some criteria. It had to be unusual looking. I mean visually, when someone looked at this house, I wanted them to say, something not right there. Doesn't look good, looks kind of off. And well, that's what I got. Once I had the criteria for the house, I then had to build it in 3D. My first thoughts on doing this was to get one of those house plan making packages that would allow me to build a house in there and then export the model for use in Lightwave. However, years ago those house planning software packages were all over the place. They don't seem to be as prevalent today. Yes, there's plenty of them out there, but there's none that seem to scream, I am the best, you know. What I'm saying is, there was none that caught my eye. Plus, people on the Lightwave forum said to me, build the house in Lightwave yourself. Gives you more control. You can do exactly what you need, place things where you want them. So I decided, right, that's what I'll do. So instead of starting in a 3D software designed for building houses, I actually started in Lightwave, or more specifically, I started in a piece of software I created called Digigraph 3. I used this to create the plans for the house. Now I knew I wanted 4 floors, a basement, a ground floor, a second floor upstairs, whatever you want to call that, and of course the attic. I also had some set criteria for the inside of the house. I knew I wanted a balcony. I wanted to be able to go up to the landing and look over and down at the living room. So that had to come into play. A bit of trial and error went on in Digigraph as I designed this house, but eventually I came up with the plans I wanted. And with those finalized, I then went into Lightwave and I started to build. Basically, I started off on the ground floor. I decided to build each level separately, then bring all those levels together into a unified house. Is this the best way to do this? I'm not sure. Perhaps there are people who will say it would have been easier just to build the entire house, all the levels at once. But this made more sense to me. I was able to build the ground floor, the interior rooms, doorways, etc. I was then able to build the second floor, the same thing, interior rooms, doorways, etc. Plus that overlook, and then I was able to bring both levels together and create those 2 levels. The attic was fairly simple. I just extended the top walls of the house and merged them into the roof. And for the basement, well, just like the attic, I extended the ground floor walls downwards and merged them off as the floor. I ended up with the house I wanted. The plans that I drew up for this house in Digigraph 3 fairly much resemble the house that is modelled in Lightwave 3D. Overall, I'm very happy with the house. It has a good design to it. I've got the rooms I want in the places I want. It's also got a bit of a creepy atmosphere, which is what I wanted for the house. The back wall of the house is very unusual because it doesn't have many windows. But that all adds into the unique, creepy, unusual design of the building. Once I had the building and the doors in place, the next thing I needed to put in was lighting. This was fairly simple enough in regards to lights themselves, which were modelled and placed on ceilings. And I think there's one light on a wall in the living room just to offset a dark corner in there. But for the light switch, well, there are many different light switches on the market. You've got the twisty ones, you got the flicky ones, but I didn't want either of them. I didn't want to have to deal, because this is a pre-rendered game, I didn't want to have to deal with, is this light switch on or off? Is this one on or off? I wanted a light switch now, no matter which way it was, on or off, it looked the same. But I wanted to go different than just the twisty dial switches would have worked for that, because on or off they all look the same. But I wanted something that caught the eye. I wanted something that stood out in the house. I wanted something that possibly could stand out in dark environments. So what was designed was basically these touchpad light switches. Locations in the house were assigned where a light switch would be placed, and then for each light that pad controlled, a touch button was added. This took a little bit of planning, but once it was done, it really worked, because when the lights in the house are off, the light switches are still illuminated. This is actually based on a real design that I saw on Google. These touch light switches do actually exist. It's not an exact carbon copy of the ones I saw on Google, but they worked out very well. I think they work very well in the house, and well, they work well with the story too. That's all I'm going to say on that, folks. At the end of it all, I ended up with a completely built home, matching the plans that I had drawn up on Digigraph 3. I had my 4 levels, I had my walls, my rooms, my doors, I had my balcony, I had my unusual elements. Now that I have this unusual empty house of white walls, it was time to start assigning each room the properties that it needs to be the room it is going to be. In other words, floor coverings, wallpaper, paint, and furnishings. Folks, I'm going to keep that for the next video, but I think you will agree that the house, it actually shaped up quite well. It is a good home with good rooms, good layout, good structure. It has too many quirky, unusual elements for me to say that I would want to live in it if it actually existed as a built property. Would you live in it? Till the next vlog, folks, where we'll take a look at each individual room of the house as I turn this blank canvas home into a home of texture, colour, furnishings, and a place to live in, along with the spectres that are there. Till next time, folks.